Welcome to the High Value Sales Show of Eversprint.com. I'm Malcolm Louie, the managing member of Eversprint, and today we're speaking with Jay Morrison, the CEO and founder of the Jay Morrison Academy, a premier wealth education institute. Welcome to the call, Jay.
Thanks for having me, Malcolm.
Jay, you grew your company's revenue from $274,000 in 2014 to $2.6 million in 2017, an 850% increase, and in 2018, you hit around $4 million. But before I ask you how you grew your company so fast, can you briefly share more about what your company does beyond my quick intro, and also discuss how your company differs from competition?
Sure, I'd love to. What our company does is we make wealth education more affordable, more accessible, and more relatable than the average person is able to ingest it or have access to it. And so we have a core curriculum that we call the RBCs, similar to how in school we learned our ABCs. Well, we understand there's a fundamental education needed for family wealth and legacy. And that curriculum revolves around real estate, business, and credit, right, our RBCs. And so that's what we primarily teach, as well as some elective courses. We do so through online trainings, through one-on-one coaching, workshops, boot camps, books, and any other ways that you can digest or ingest wealth education.
Fantastic. And how would you differ from your competition?
Well, where we differ from our competition is kind of in that those 3 points is that when folks understand the value of wealth education, it's really priceless, right? When you really teach someone how to make money out of thin air, how to generate wealth, how to create businesses, how to syndicate deals, how to understand and evaluate real estate, how to acquire real estate, how to leverage credit, build credit, repair credit, all these things are really pieces of invaluable information, nearly priceless. And so most institutions, most gurus, most experts, most trainers who understand this information, and who understand that most folks don't get it at home because most parents don't come from wealthy backgrounds or can't even teach this to their children. And none of our school systems teach this information. So there's a premium price on it, and it makes it usually inaccessible for the average working class American. And so where we have found the niche and where we differ is that we make sure that we give this information and we give it out mobily. We make sure that our price points, even for our premier services such as one-on-one coaching, are not at the top of the market, and that they are what we want to consider realistic for the working class person or for the new entrepreneur, as well as we make sure that we translate wealth education in a way that is very relatable to everyone from all walks of life, whether you're a millennial, whether you are a veteran, whether you're a retiree, whether you come from an urban background. We want to make sure that wealth education is not too complicated. It's not just for the sophisticated or overly educated, but where everyone can access it and everyone can relate to it. And so that's kind of been, and we've done so in ways where we've even taught 50 wealth education corner classes, where we go to inner cities and we teach it for free on street corners as a sample to get people the first steps of wealth education in regards to home ownership, the beginnings of credit. We'll even bring this information at times for free directly to people in underserved communities. And that's kind of been one of our bigger niches, and that differentiates us from the competition, is that we're very relatable and very accessible.
Okay, relatable and accessible. That's a key differentiator. Can you share the price for your product and services from the lowest product you offer and your most expensive?
Yeah, for quite some time now, we've offered a free opportunity on our website, jaymorrisonacademy.com, to join our free wealth creators community, where there's a series of lectures, courses, and resources for people to really get their first start in understanding for absolutely nothing. And so that's been going on for quite some time. I'm not sure when that'll end. So we've always given out free samples. I mean, I have over 1,000 lectures on my YouTube channel, Mr. Jay Morrison. So we make sure that we give people a start who can't even afford it, show them where they can start. So that's one thing. But then when we go into our tuition or paid trainings, I mean, those range usually from $97, sometimes as low as $47 if it's a one-off webinar, but $97 for a curriculum or $97 a month for curriculum that could easily be a $3,000 curriculum, all the way to our CEO's Advanced program, which is like an $11,000 course that we often discount for as low as $1,000 to get over 158 exclusive lectures, resources, business plan checklist, business funding checklist, really deep dives on, how to create your business, how to run your business, brand your business, how to evaluate real estate, negotiate real estate, build teams. I mean, not surface level stuff. And so, we try to do so where it's really affordable, all the way up to our coaching where, even for myself as a Inc. 5000 CEO, on a very successful, reputable CEO, where, most folks in my position, wouldn't coach you for 6 months to a year, probably for under 50 to 100 grand. We try to keep our closing price point, well under that type of retainer.
Okay, great. Now, can you share a bit about the 3 most important factors behind your growth over the past few years, from 274,000 in 2014 all the way to around 4 million for 2018?
Sure. So I think 3 things happened that really accelerated our company's revenue growth. One is we made a geographical change. We looked at our market, and we have done 3 or 4 national tours where we've literally went into anywhere from 10 to 25 cities and held free events from, workshops at libraries to meet and greets in lounges or hotel lobbies, all the way to those corner classes I spoke of. And so we really tested the market around the country and dozens of cities and seeing where we had big bases. And we saw that although we were based out of New York, New Jersey area, we had a great market there. We saw there was a lot of traction in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And so in 2016 going to 2017, we made 2016, we made a strategic move down to Atlanta, Georgia. We moved the companies down to Atlanta. And where there's a very high climate for entrepreneurship here, very active real estate market. And it just really fit our company and where we were going. And so we were able to find great talent here. We were able to get a lot of relationships here in the city. And that was able to one start to our growth. So really looking at a market that we can thrive in. A lot of times we get comfortable in where our home base is, and then we don't really consider geographical changes as CEOs and as entrepreneur leaders. And so in a matter of months, it actually was after our second corner class, right? So we did a corner class here in Atlanta in a section called Bankhead. And that corner class brought out 90 attendees, like literally standing up on the corner, learning, real estate and wealth education. And we were blown away because this concept was something in my head. Hey, let's just teach on a corner and see what happens. Like, let's just pull out a flip chart, do some Instagram posts and tell folks to come out to this particular corner and we're going to teach a free class. And we did one in Baltimore and it worked out pretty well. And then we came to Atlanta and we did a second one. And when I seen that folks literally flew in from Montana, they flew in from Washington State, they flew in from DC, they flew in from, all over the country to attend this class in the corner, and obviously the Atlanta locals, I was like, you know what? I think our movement and our message will go well here. And as I was having that conversation, someone interrupted me from across the parking lot and said, "Hey, Jay, I like your movement, man. Keep it going." And there was just a high energy here for us. And in a matter of 2 to 4 months, I moved the entire organization down here. So I made a strategic change, a strategic pivot very quickly. So that was one. Secondly is we opened up and allowed people, again, the accessibility piece, we allowed more of our constituents to be able to call us. Where a lot of our communications were online driven. We said to folks, you know what, let's open up our customer service lines. Let's hire some consultants to really walk people through this stuff. I mean, we assume that most people just can read and digest a website or email blast and then be able to make a determination on what they want to do with their life and where they want to make an investment of their time and resources. And again, through our accessibility piece, we felt that some telephone dialogue and some consultation dialogue would bode well with our core audience. And as we did that, we saw a dramatic increase in response and revenue. And so that was a kind of a second key piece. And then thirdly, it was the tours. It was touching the people. Most times when you get very successful entrepreneurs, such as myself and others, they're really hard to touch. I mean, they breeze into a workshop or boot camp and they breeze right out. You don't get them unless it's a big ticket figure. And I understand it's exclusivity and supply and demand and all those things, but we kind of bucked that mantra and that ideology. And as myself, I would spend extra time at events with people. I would take extra pictures. I would hold extra conversations. I would kind of come off the high horse and say, regardless of my status and regardless of my influence, regardless of, how big my social media is growing or how well my other companies are doing or any of that stuff, or, we had some viral videos that went out and et cetera. But it was like, I want to stay a man of the people and stay relatable. And that kind of relatability and touchability, so to speak, kind of bled through our organization. And so everyone kind of spent a little extra time with customers and students and just going an extra mile. And that has kind of panned out for us to kind of get the kind of overwhelming support and growth that we've had.
Fantastic. Let me recap what you shared with me for your three biggest drivers to make sure I have it all squared away in my notes and in my mind. So your three biggest drivers: one, making the geographical shift from New York to Atlanta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big one because your market was there. Second one was that you made yourself more accessible for people to reach you literally by phone instead of just having people communicate you via online. And then the third factor, you took it to the next step and made it more accessible for people to reach you in person as well.
Yes.
Is that about to sum it up?
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. Now you mentioned one comment. Can you talk a bit more about the movement? What is your movement, and why do you think it's resonating with people?
Yeah, our movement, if I could kind of sum it up, as like kind of wealth empowerment for all, right? And so it's really not just a wealth education institute, but it's really a wealth education movement that's saying, hey, we all deserve to at least have a shot by learning some of these fundamentals, right? Like we've learned photosynthesis in school. We learned volleyball. We learned sex ed, driver's ed. We learned geometry in school. But why didn't we learn credit, FICO scores, utilization ratios? Why didn't we learn you could buy a home with 3% down? Why didn't we learn, what an LLC is and how easy it is to create one? And we believe, and I believe, especially coming from an underserved background and a verse background, I believe that that's the only thing that gave me a shot at life. I mean, with my upbringing, I wasn't supposed to be where I'm at today. And so my heart is in it, and I want to give everyone that shot. And so I think people resonate with the fact that we are for the underdogs and we are making high-level information available for everyone through our curricula. And, that's really the movement is wealth education for all. Give everybody a chance to learn the same thing and have an even playing field, at least from an education standpoint. And then you got to go hustle.
Right. Got it. Now, factor number one, Atlanta, Georgia. Did you do a lot of quant analysis before you moved down there, or just after you did your corner talk there and you just knew it? You just knew that it was the right place to be?
Yeah, it was really instinctive and almost spiritual. I just knew it. There wasn't like a bunch of analysis. We did know it was a heavy market because we had some, traction. We saw some of our kind of stats, but it was like, no, this is the market for us. This is where not only do we have a customer base, but I felt like we would get the kind of support that we would need. And that's exactly what we got once we came here.
Yeah. Now, can you give me a picture of what these corner talks are like? Like, do you just pick any old corner just like that, or did you have to arrange it in advance of the city, get permits and so on? And how long does it last, your talks?
Yeah, so the corner classes, we have not gotten a permit for anyone. We've done over 50. We just pick the most underserved corner in most communities. So I'll have my assistant or our event planner look into, hey, or I'll do an Instagram post or ask some folks I may know from the city, hey, where's the hood, right? Where are people underserved and struggling at? Where they're not getting this information? And they'll tell us, usually it's an area where most people wouldn't want to step foot. And we'll literally go there and we'll tell everybody, hey, we're going to be on Marcy Avenue and Fordham Road in Brooklyn. We're going to be, or Fordham Road in the Bronx, or Marcy Avenue in Brooklyn, or we're going to be, Liberty City in Miami, or we're going to be here in Dallas, Houston, Crenshaw Boulevard in LA, or Milwaukee, Detroit, Chicago on the west side near the projects, right? We really go in, we just promote it, again, via social media and a few emails. Our team comes out, and we, usually see crowds from, I think our largest crowd, 390 people on the corner, just learning, standing, okay. Kids on their hips, baby strollers out, like just everyday working class folks who just come out to get information that they've never had access to in their life. And
right. And how long does the class last?
They're typically about 2 hours. They may go over, if we're, in the spirit, it may go over, 2.5, maybe even 3 hours with pictures and some, so video ops afterwards, but about 2-hour class. And
yep, go ahead.
Yeah. And I do have to say, the last year and a half, I've been able to share those classes with who is now my wife. She started out as a business colleague and someone who's a renowned and poet, Ernestine Morrison. Well, she was Ernestine Johnson. And I asked her to come on tour to share some of her poetry with our crowds and audiences. And she would, kind of empower through her poetry and really bring people to tears, literally on the corner. And then, so she joined me on tour about 1.5 years ago, and we end up dating, and then we end up becoming married in that 1.5 years. And so my wife has joined me on those tours as well, using her gift, poetry, to empower people kind of spiritually and emotionally.
Very cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, when you do these classes, is it like a big production, or is it just you there with a whiteboard and a tripod to mount it on and some markers and you're good to go? Or do you have TV monitor, big speaker setup, wireless mics and everything?
Yeah, great.
How big a production?
Yeah, great question, man. When I first started out, literally it would be me. I would fly out by myself. Like the first, this is 3 years ago, the first tour, right? This is like, now putting this in retrospect, this is like the beginning stages of, building revenue in our company, right? And so small company, you mentioned some of the early numbers. So I just fly out by myself. I literally rent a car. I drive to a local Office Max or Staples. I'd get a flip chart, get a marker. I'd promote the corner, and we'd have about 30 to 50 people come out, maybe 70 people come out. And I just teach it on the corner by myself. No videographer. I'd have my phone. I'd usually have some kind of intern maybe or someone local that, who knew of us, who may, hold the phone or record it or take some pictures. And that was it. It was like really a one-man band. No assistant, no nothing, just out there. And then it grown over the 3 years to, full, like you said, a full production. We got, 2 to 3 person videographer team, wireless mics, 2 assistants, my wife out. We had, 2 security guards because again, you're looking at crowds now of, 200, 300, 400 people. So it started to grow, and our influence, our popularity was growing. And so, then we had to have kind of just different measures in place. And so, yeah, it became by last year, it kind of came a full-blown thing.
And no longer random. To have room for 300, 400 people, I don't think you can just pick an intersection. You're going to be disrupting the city's traffic flow. Yeah,
we had to be very strategic. As we saw the crowds growing, we had to be very strategic about where we did them at. So, yeah, we had to try to find parks or corners with vacant lots or just areas that could really hold kind of, a mass amount of people. But it looks really cool, though, when you see the videos and see the pictures. But, because you're just seeing regular people, man, people coming off of work still with their work uniforms on and just, even, high level NFL athletes came out and others, celebrities came out just to watch, support their city and learn from us. And so, that kind of grassroots campaigning really was the foundation to our growth as a company.
Yeah. Now, it must shock some people, right? I mean, if I were walking along and I saw 200, 300 people in a crowd, and then I check it out, people must be surprised hearing that you're talking about financial stuff and that you have captured this size audience, right?
Absolutely. Because, I mean, used to usually, what is it, a magic show? Is it music? Is somebody dancing? Like, what's captivating these people for hours? I mean, literally, I would be teaching and I would never see anyone leave. And I'd be thinking they got to be getting bored now. Their feet have to be hurting now. But people would be, and it shows you the love, the dire need and the level of just thirst and want that people have for this information. It's no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm never gonna get a chance to get this kind of information, right? And so if someone's willing to break it down to me and make it relatable and digestible for me right now, I'm gonna. And so I literally had moms, single moms, come up to me after with 3 kids and crying, Jay, you don't know what this did for my family. We had no idea about any of this stuff.
Hey Jay, you still there? I can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm back. Apparently my do not disturb didn't work as well because I just saw a call coming in. But go ahead. So,
okay,
can you repeat that?
So do not disturb. No, we were just talking about the the enthusiasm that your crowd has, which is fantastic. Now the corner class, what gave you this idea of doing these things? This is sounds like a page of the guerrilla marketing book.
Yeah, I was just early on in the my career and in this particular company. I was just hanging out with a couple of my proteges one day, and I was like, you know what, guys, I think it'll be cool to kind of just go to the hood, man. Just kind of do something called hood hopping. That was my first thing.
Hood hopping.
Yeah, go to different neighborhoods, just pull up in the BMW, hop out, pull a whiteboard out the trunk and say, guys, you want to learn, how to flip a house. And that was just kind of the first concept. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. And then I, sat back down and went back to work and did nothing. And right. It was just one of those harebrained ideas we get as CEOs, and you just, kind of shelf it, and it sounded good, and everybody's like, yeah, and we just didn't do it. And then a year later, I was like, remember that idea I was talking about? What's stopping us from actually doing it? Let's just try it. And I did. I just told some of my staff, I said, hey, let's pick a corner. At the time, we were doing some development work in Baltimore. I said, hey, let's do a corner class. And I kind of changed the name at that point. I said, let's call it a corner class. And I said, let's do a corner class in Baltimore. And I said, okay, cool. So we picked a block, Dolphin Street and Harlem Ave on the west side of Baltimore. It was kind of a block where 2 streets met at a triangle. So it was a nice kind of, learning area for us, and kind of like a little semi-island. And we did it. We just picked the street and we picked a date and time. It actually was February and about 59 degrees. So it actually wasn't the best time to do it. I literally remember I had gloves with the fingers cut out of the gloves and, full winter jacket on. And we had no idea anyone would show up. People aren't going to show up. It's too cold. And about 50 to 60 folks showed up. And we taught, in response, everybody was just amazed because you just, like you said, you just never see anything like it. And we never see anything like it, right? I pictured it in my head, but I never actually saw it. And then to see it and then get the response from people and just their appreciation, it just became infectious. And then we, went on to do about, I think, 18 more classes that year. I think 25 the next year and on and on.
Very cool. Kind of makes me wonder if I should do a class for you.
You never know, man.
Yeah, well, that's marketing for you, right? You never know. I mean, yes, you have some best guesses as to what's going to work, drawing from your experience, drawing from what other people do. But at the end of the day, you never know until you do it, right?
Got to shoot your shot.
Yep, definitely. Looking a little bit forward, what are your plans for 2019? What are your sales targets? How do you plan to get there?
Yeah, that's a really good one. Oh, man. Well,
so you're at 4 million in 2018. So I'll give you a reference point there.
Yes. Our targets for this year. I honestly, Malcolm, I want to not disclose our targets just because I'm just like so quirky when it comes to goals and those things. I do say I want to at the bare minimum maintain where we've been, but certainly grow and expand on it. I can share a little bit of how we hope to get there.
Okay. Well, can you share broadly when you say grow? What do you mean by grow? Growing the number of students and clients you have? Do you mean growing by their product offering? Growing by going into other cities and building out the movement there? What do you mean by grow?
Oh, great question. So I do want to grow our student base and our influence in the wealth education space, right? Our notoriety, our reputation in the space. Like I want to own the space as an organization. Like I want, when you think of wealth education, I want you to think of Jay Morrison Academy. One area that we've actually hammered home on in our 2018, end of the year review and 2019 planning that we held in December, is that I do want to grow in diversification as an organization. Our footprint has been the urban community. We've made this information accessible to everyone, but we have had intentional marketing around the urban community, the Black community, and the Black and brown community, minority community, however you politically want to say that correctly, because that is the most, and they are the most underserved communities in America. But as we've been growing our curriculum, and I've been evolving as a leader and CEO, I've said to our organization is that, and it's all just in marketing, it's all just a narrative, it's even in pictures, right? And just, who you open up to. I said to our organization is that, we want to be as inclusive as possible when it comes to wealth education, because I believe that we teach better than anyone. And so we don't want folks from other ethnicities, races, walks of life, or nationalities to think, hey, the Jay Morrison Academy is only for this group. No, it's wealth education for all, no matter what walk of life you come from, no matter what skin tone you have, no matter what religious or whatever kind of background you got. And so that's one way we want to grow. We want to grow in diversity. We also want to grow and make sure that from a translation standpoint, even to other languages, that's something that's on our plate as well, is making sure that it translates literally to other demographics. So we do want to grow our audience base. That in turn will grow our student base and would hopefully grow our revenue base. So that's one way we want to grow.
Are you comfortable sharing any numbers, like how many students you have, and are you looking to double your students, triple, or maybe a little bit more modestly, 20-30% growth?
Yeah, I'll just say modestly for now. Yep. I'll stick with modestly. So I would love to grow by 20 to 50%. I think I think honestly we can grow 100%, to be honest. If we do the right things this year, I think our methods and what we're offering is needed to a lot of people in a lot of areas. They just got to know about us, and that's something that we do well, is make ourselves known.
Yeah. Now, is most of your business coming from the Georgia area right now, or is it well distributed throughout the country?
Oh, well distributed. Yeah, it's very, very well distributed. There's probably 5 to 10 markets that we get a lot of activity throughout the country. I mean, and there's more, but I'm saying it's like just some 5 is really there's probably 5 to 10 cities that we could pack up and probably go to those cities and have just as much impact, which is part of our growth plan as well, which is to have some satellite campuses in these different cities. So we're going to be growing in regards to our instructor base as well. So we're going to be, so for anyone listening, we're going to be doing offerings for trainers and instructors to teach our curriculum in cities, in satellite campuses. So you just don't have to learn it online. You can learn it in physical locations in probably 10 different cities this year.
Yeah. Now, when you say campuses, are you talking about physical campuses or virtual campuses?
No, they'll be physical satellite classrooms, if you will. So I'm not saying a full college, full school campus at this point. That's in our 5-year plan, but a full satellite classroom in which you can learn. So a physical classroom, just say, in Dallas, in Detroit, in Chicago, in New York, in LA, where you can come and actually learn as opposed to just online.
Got it. So what sort of marketing do you have in mind to accomplish your modest growth of 20 to 50% or so?
Um, I think the marketing plan, is going to be centered around our curriculum, right, and around the RBCs, real estate, business, and credit. That's one way we're going to do it. Is just simplifying it. One thing we found is that we've offered, wealth education is so broad, and it's never been taught, that you can find yourself in a whirlwind of lectures and lessons and courses, and our website became a smorgasbord of courses. And people, like, a lot of times would go pumped up and excited after coming to one of our events or hearing a lecture online, but then not know where to start. And so we want to simplify our curriculum, and that's what we're doing, and it'll be up and running in the next month or two, the first quarter. But to make it, when you go to our website, where cut and dry, clearly, where you begin. Where do you start with this thing, and not have just so many options. So that's one thing that we're going to be doing, is having more concise marketing around our courses and curriculum.
Right.
That's one place that we could start, is focus.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, people typically, when there are too many decisions, too many choices, people just choose nothing, right? And they say, I'll look at it later.
Yep. It just gets it gets intimidating, it gets overwhelming, and you get the well, I'll contact them later. I'll try email later, or I'll come back to it. And so, we want to avoid that hurdle. I think that would help us out a lot.
Now, how are you going to attract these people? Are you going to be doing it through Instagram? Is that your channel of choice, or are there other ways of reaching out to your customer base?
Yeah, so we do a lot of social media, right? Instagram, Facebook, not so much Twitter, but Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. So we do a lot of, content there. So content is king. We're very, very content heavy and content driven. So that definitely has, spreads the message across our brand. We also do a lot of email marketing as well. And, we do a lot of events. And I think probably one of our next growth stages is more affiliate partnerships, right? Reaching a broader audience from, just even doing interviews and podcasts like this, to, working with other influencers who may be in the same genre or different genres, and just collaborating more. I think that's one way you can always reach a larger audience.
Right. Now, how about on the paid advertising front? I actually did research, fired up my spy tools to try to figure out what kind of marketing you're doing. And I think I saw that currently, according to my tool, you have like two pay-per-click ads running right now on Bing. What are your thoughts about that?
I didn't even know I had two pay-per-click ads running on Bing, so you're better than me. And I'm going to actually speak to the team about that. Like, hey, where are these Bing? What's up with these Bing ads? But we do some paid advertising, through Facebook mostly. Facebook, we're tapping into Instagram. I want to get more heavy into YouTube ads. I've been trying to find some experts that can grow our brand there. Surprisingly, we have a pretty strong YouTube channel and YouTube presence, but I haven't ever put out one YouTube advertisement ever. And so we're really excited about that. I mean, I'm really, kind of pissed off about that, but also excited that we've grown the company and the brand as large as we have without even having done one YouTube ad ever. And so there's a great upside to that opportunity.
You said you're a bit pissed off about that. What in particular are you pissed off about?
Well, just our inability as an organization, and I mean, it starts with me, at the lid, to effectively find digital marketing experts that can execute my vision. I've wanted YouTube ads for the last 2 or 3 years, but I've never been able to find someone who can focus and execute on getting us a quality product and delivering. And so pissed off because it just hasn't been done, and I know it's a missed opportunity. So it's one thing if you know of an advertisement, marketing, or sales strategy, or you don't know of it, and so you miss out on it because you don't know, right? You can't be so mad you don't know something. But when you know something's a viable angle and a viable, but you just can't pull it off, then that, can kind of tee you off.
Yeah, rarely in any situation you can think about, rarely is inaction the optimal strategy.
Right. It's not.
Sometimes it is, but most cases, standing still and not doing anything is probably the worst stage to be in. 3 final questions for you. First one, in one sentence, how would you best describe Jay Morrison Academy?
The #1 wealth education institute in the world.
Okay, got it. And the 2 last questions I have for you. Who are your ideal clients, your ideal customers, and what's the best way for them to reach out to you and your team?
Sure. Our ideal client, customer, student is someone who recognizes the value of building wealth in their lifetime, building family wealth, and being what we call the best CEO for their last name. I believe that in all families, there needs to be a CEO. There needs to be a leader of the family and a visionary for the family, especially in regards to the family growth and family wealth and family sustainability and a family legacy. And so our best client, our ideal client, is the person's in a family who say, hey, I want the best for our last name, and I'm willing to learn what I need to learn in order to do what I have to do to provide our family with the resources, the tools, and the strategies that, grandma and grandpa couldn't get us, and that the school system K through 12 failed to get, and that I didn't even learn when I got my master's degree. And so we want to be able to provide those folks the tools they need to be great entrepreneurs, whether it be full-time or part-time, to be great real estate investors full-time or part-time, and to understand how credit and business funding and creative real estate funding strategies and all those things and leverage, how all that plays into your ability to build wealth, the RBCs, real estate, business, and credit. Right.
And that's the best way for them to contact you and your team?
Yeah, the best way to contact us is calling us. The number is 1-844-JOIN-JMA. That's probably the best way. It's direct call, 1-844-JOIN-JMA, or certainly through our website, jaymorrisonacademy.com. They can email, contact, join our email list, our free community, or any of that sorts through our website, as well as calling as they wish.
Sure. Would you mind spelling out your Jay Morrison website?
Yeah.
Jay can be spelled different ways.
Yeah, that could be, taken and confused. So our website is Jay Morrison, Morrison, Academy.com. So that's jaymorrisonacademy.com. And on social media, Instagram primarily, at Jay, the letter M, Academy. So that's JM Academy on Instagram and jaymorrisonacademy.com.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for joining us today, Jay, and sharing how you accelerated your company's high-value sales.
Thanks so much for having me. It was a wonderful interview, and you made me think and got me excited and pumped up for the rest of what we're going to do this 2019.
Man, I got to say, after speaking with you, I'm excited and pumped about my 2019 as well. I mean, just being willing to just test something, go out on the corner and put yourself out there. I mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah, if you we have a saying, when you talk about people who want to walk on water and perform miracles, in order to walk on water, you got to get off the boat.
Yeah, and you got to see if it's going to happen or not.
Yep.
So, great, fantastic. We've been speaking with Jay Morrison, the CEO and founder of the Jay Morrison Academy, about his company's rapid growth. For interviews with other fast-growing, high-value sales companies, or to learn how we can accelerate your firm's high-value sales through automation, visit Eversprint.com.